new headline overnight about kids and concussions, raising a big question. Should high school football be banned? Experts are weighing in on that in the new issue of Pediatrics. Take a look. Concussions in high school football, a tough topic to tackle. According to the Institute of Medicine, 1 in 14 high school football players will suffer at least one concussion, and that risk is 60% higher than the next sport. Yet the sport remains the most popular among high school boys, with more than 1 million taking part in the game. In the latest issue of the medical journal Pediatrics, some leading experts are weighing in on the question of whether or not high school football should be banned. One of the experts, Dr. Louis Margolis, writes that high school football should be banned until we can be assured that it does not have long-term detrimental consequences. He notes football causes more harm to the brain than any other sport. But another expert does not think banning the sport is the right solution. Having a licensed athletic trainer on site, a physician who is knowledgeable about the concussions at every football game, and a clear return to play policy.
I think just having a discussion at the schools, how are we going to approach the injury and making sure that we're dealing with it at a very appropriate level and that we are taking the injury seriously.
Joining us now, our Chief Health and Medical Editor, Dr. Richard Besser. You ready to take the heat on this?
Yeah.
Every time this comes up.
Yes.
You are a pediatrician. You also have 2 sons. So where do you weigh in on this issue?
Yeah, I mean, this is a tough one. You know, we know how valuable organized sports are. It teaches teamwork and leadership, winning and losing, and physical fitness. But the big concern about football is the risk to the brain. We have 2 sons. We did not allow them to play football. And as a pediatrician, when I'm talking to parents, I say sports is great, but I'd recommend something other than football.
So you did not allow your boys to play, but should it be banned?
Well, that's different. I do not think that football should be banned. You know, if you look at all sports, there's a risk of concussion. You know, whether football is highest, mainly because the participation rates are really high, but lacrosse, ice hockey, girls and women's soccer, all have concussions. Our younger son had a concussion playing basketball and playing soccer. So it's not about eliminating all risk. It's about saying, are the risks in football acceptable? And are there things you can do if you're going to have a football program to lower those risks?
I'm glad you mentioned the other sports because other people weigh in and go, hey, it's not just football, though it is very high in football. So what changes could you get behind?
Well, I think there's a lot of things you can do if your focus is around safety. So starting with the little kids, have them play flag football. In that way, they're going to learn about the sport. They're going to learn all of those things. The focus won't be on tackling. It'll be about how do you play football. Then when they start playing and they're a little older, reduce the contact time during practice. That's something you'll see at college level where they're not doing those tackling, those hard practices as much anymore. They're saving most of that for the game. Then you want to, as you heard in the piece, you want to have a certified athletic trainer on the sidelines, and you want to make sure they don't report to the coach so that if they see a player who's injured, they're not going to be worried that the coach is going to be mad at them for pulling them out. They're reporting up to the head of the school or to a doctor. And then lastly, you want to make sure that you look at other things that are a little more controversial, possibly getting rid of the kickoff return. It's so exciting to see someone run the whole field. It's also the most dangerous play in football because you have these teams running full velocity, smashing into each other.
You're saying to start at the 20 or something like that?
Start at the 20 like they do in overtime.
Good luck with that.
I know.
I'm just telling you.
I know.
I mean, when you talk about football on all levels, especially high school, people are like hands off.
I know. We're going to hear about it on social media, and I want to hear from people.
Yeah.
But, when you look at the role high school football plays in communities, it's what brings people together. It's huge. But the school board has to decide, what's the most important thing? Is the coach going to lose their job if they lose a game, or are they going to lose their job if their players get injured and it could have been prevented?
Maybe we can find some common ground here.
I think you can. So. A lot of parents are saying to the little kids, don't play football. And that's going to be, in the long term, what causes problems with football if they don't make it a little bit safer.
You're going to be very busy on Twitter.
Looking forward to it.
I know that you are.